Hey, it's JD here, and off the top of the show, I just want to make a quick announcement that Podlist is coming back. That's right, Podlist 5 to be exact. And what is a Podlist exactly? Well, it's a podcast playlist. It's a Podlist. Podlist 5 will launch July 8th, 2024, and this is your official call for submissions. I am looking for your Pavement or Pavement adjacent songs recorded on a WAV file sent to me via jd at meetingmalcolmist.com, or we transfer, preferably because the files will be big. MP3s are okay, but WAV files rule the day. I need these files from you by June 15th of 2024 in order to make the cut, so get your files to me on or before June 15th. Get your band together. Pick up an acoustic guitar and just play your balls off for whatever song you choose. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of fun, and maybe we'll do something a little bit different this year with the pod list once it's done. When you send me the file, please send me your band name or your handle, as well as any pertinent information about the band that I need to know to introduce your song. That's what I've got for you. This is your official call for submissions. Again, WAV files on or before June 15th to make Podlist number 5 a reality.
Previously on the Pavement Top 50.
So there you go. At number 46, it's the third Wowie Zowie song to chart behind Best Friend's Arm at number 49, and Motion Suggests Itself at 48. Here we are at 46 with We Dance, the first track off the 2005 masterpiece Wowie Zowie. Keith, what do you think about We Dance?
So yeah, I think it's a great song. I love how it leads off the album. It's got like I feel like it has this ethereal quality to it, like that kind of just I don't know. It just kind of dreamy sort of for me. I don't know if that's how it comes off to anyone else at the beginning of the song.
Hey, this is Westy from the rock and roll band Pavement, and you're listening to The Countdown.
Hey, it's JD here, back for another episode of our Top 50 Countdown for the seminal indie rock band Pavement. Week over week, we're going to count down the 50 essential Pavement tracks that you selected with your very own top 20 ballads. I then tabulated the results using an advanced abacus and, well, frankly, a calculator. And all that's left for us to reveal is this week's track. How will your favorite song fare in the rating? Well, you'll need to tune in, or whatever the podcast equivalent of tuning in is, I suppose, downloading, to find out. This week, we're joined by Pavement superfan Matt F Basler. So there's that. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm wonderful.
This is good to hear.
I think so.
Yeah, man. It's a snowy, blustery day where I am. Very cold. What's it like where you're at?
Same. So I'm in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh,
it's
I love St. Louis.
A frozen hellscape currently. So I'm in a robe right now. Our place is cold. We can't keep it warm. Ceilings are too tall.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
I'll get by,
in the summer, I bet it's awesome.
It's hot then. There's no good time. There's no good period.
Shit. Oh man. Well, maybe when the Cardinals play. I don't know. Are you a Cardinals guy?
I'm not a sports guy.
No?
Not a sports guy at all. I'll fake it sometimes to get by, you know.
Right.
I've learned how to say, like, how about them cards?
That's great. You got it nailed. You got this whole thing figured out. Well, motherfucker, we're here to talk about your Pavement experience. And I've been calling it your Pavement origin story. So why don't you share with us what that looks like?
Well, I see a post. I see a post out there on the internet, it says like, oh, we're talking about the top 50 Pavement songs. Would any of you like to talk about it? Maybe discuss your origin stories? And I say to myself, Matt, perhaps you would be a unique perspective on something like this, as I am what I think, especially in the world of Pavement fans, I'm a fairly new Pavement fan. I'm a newcomer to the band. Now I'm a coming of age in the 90s, you know. I'm listening to Nirvana, Pixies, Replacements. I'm a cool guy. We were from a small town in Missouri, though, so it was difficult to figure out what was cool and what wasn't cool. Coolest things we were reading, you know, were like Guitar Player magazine, and then you'd find out about a band from someone else. Like you'd bump into a cool person, and they'd go like, "I've ever heard of, I don't know, some band, you know, ever heard of the Stooges?" And you'd go, "No." Well, somehow I had gotten it in my brain that I'm sure you're aware of nu metal and
Right.
Saliva, perhaps, or Corn, certainly.
Sure. Backwards K. Yeah.
Somehow in my brain, I thought Pavement was a nu metal band.
Get out.
Now, I don't know how this happened. Maybe the name, maybe the way the name was written at some point, the logo.
Sure.
So I totally wrote them off, you know. Now, of course, getting into music is not a linear thing. So if I would hear Pavement songs. I was familiar with some, you know, cut your hair. When I dove in, I was like, oh, I have heard this, but I never connected. Dear friend Ryan tried to get me into Pavement, showed me, I think maybe like one of their late night, but I don't know. It never clicked, it never came together. Always thought, oh, Pavement, they're nu metal. And a lot of my friends listen to Pavement, but I think, what's the band, White Pony? Is that the album?
No.
Oh, shoot. What are they called?
Drawing a blank.
Deftones.
Oh, Deftones. Okay. Yeah.
Deftones somehow, whatever. I'm not saying like you're a dunce if you like the Deftones, but the Deftones were kind of nu metal, but like slipped into the like indie rock. People liked them as well. So it wasn't like insane that somebody would maybe have a nu metal band on their list of bands they liked if they listened to things that I liked, right? So years go by, I just don't get into it, you know, and I should, and I'm a bad music listener too. Takes me a long time. I got to listen to things over and over again to like get into it. So I try really hard. I try to be listening to new stuff all the time, but it feels like an undertaking for me to do that. So I don't do it as much as I should. Anyway, driving in the car, maybe 6 years ago, with my beautiful lover, Courtney, she puts on a song, Range Life.
Oh,
I say,
boy.
and this is rare that this happens to me. Like I said, usually I got to hear something over and over. Range Life, we're maybe halfway through, and I go, now see this. Now this is good. Now this is what music should be. Who's this? She goes, this is Pavement. I say, no. No, I know Pavement. This isn't Pavement. Pavement would be doing like the thing that old Jonathan Davis does at the end of that. He'd be scatting or something. She shows me the phone. I'm swerving all over as I just stare at this phone, scrolling, going, wait, this can't be right. Well, it was right. And man, yeah, then I start. So even still though, it's like I said, a bad music listener. And now I'm coming into Pavement with a billion albums and they're a weird band, right? So I started listening to like the top on Spotify. So, you know, you've got like Harness Your Hope.
Start? Yeah.
Start them like, oh, this is great. I love all of these. And, you know, those are probably the most like easily accessible Pavement songs, which it was fun to find out they have a lot of songs that are maybe not so easily accessible. Then I go, well, I got to dive into an album. I choose at random, sort of, Wowie Zowie.
Jesus Christ.
Which is now that's kind of my favorite one, and which I guess that's kind of, you know, your first one. But because I'm like, oh, these guys are weirdos too. And even, you know, I think they're an interesting band to get into late. Because by the time I went, well, I'll get into the subreddits, I'll really dive in. People are talking about EPs so much, but I, you know, I'm coming more from a world where EPs don't come into the conversation as much. Like with Pavement, those seem like very main albums. I can't really think of another band where EPs would be discussed on such a same level as the full albums. And yeah, I mean, I'm still at a point where like I can't name. There's songs on each album that if you named them, I wouldn't know them offhand. You know, like
gotcha. You'd know them to hear them, but not
right.
to retrieve the song by name.
Which is great. I mean, yeah, and I'm still, you know, like I said, does take me a long time to get into stuff, and like I was saying, I think even especially kind of the back ends of Pavement albums get pretty wild. So yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of digging through and figuring it all out.
Oh, that's really cool. First of all, you're a great storyteller, so thank you for that.
Oh,
that was a good story. Is it fair to say then you've never seen them live?
We did go see them in Kansas City.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I mean, I'm one of the terrible things to me is like listening to them now. They would have been, because I probably would have been getting in, like, you know, with Crooked Rain probably would have been the first one I would have bought if I did it at the right time.
Right.
And I would have absolutely. I mean, this would have been my favorite band. And then, I mean, they are now. I consider them in the so it was pre-pandemic. They were going to play a show in Barcelona,
right?
And we were talking about it because it just felt like I felt like I missed out. You know, this is a band I could have seen several times, and you're going like, well, they've already done a reunion tour. There's a good chance we'll never get to do this, so maybe we go, maybe we check it out. And then, of course, that all went away, and then they had we went and saw them in Kansas City a couple of years ago, I think a year ago, 2 years ago, and it was wonderful. It was great.
Yeah, you lucked out because that 2010 reunion tour, although it was very special to me, I saw them in Central Park in New York City, and that was really special. They didn't look like they were having the best time.
That's what I understand.
This tour,
yeah.
This tour, they seemed like SM in particular, just seemed like he was having fun.
Right. And yeah, that's interesting too, because yeah, now my perception of them is like, wow, what a great live band.
Yeah.
But even in their heydays, the wrong term, but I guess breakup, right?
Sure.
Even then, people were kind of like, oh, they're sloppy. That's like their whole thing.
Yeah.
And you know, that's not something I ever experienced. Yeah, the Kansas City show was just a great band.
Oh yeah, so much fun. So, do you have any favorite tracks or favorite record at this point? Is it still Wowie Zowie?
Yeah, I think so. It was interesting. Well, so that was, you know, I probably listened to that for a year or two before I started going like, okay, I'm a join the subreddit guy. And it was really interesting for me to learn that was like not well received initially. And even the later stuff too, I think Terror Twilight is great. I think Bright in the Corners is great. And, you know, I mean, I know that I'm getting all this stuff at once. There's no like oh, I love Pavement. I love the sound of Slanted and Enchanted. Can't wait to see what's next. And then you get this like kind of polished record, and maybe that would be a disappointment, but to me it's all at once. So I don't know. I really love it all. It would be really hard for me to rank. Well, and also, I mean, I did listen to started listening to the top Spotify plays, and then I would listen to some like other people's like my favorite tracks or whatever,
Deeper cuts or whatever.
and right, and so like I don't necessarily even know like what's from Terra Twilight, Bright in the Corners without like thinking about it. So for and Slanted and Enchanted is a little easier to discern that sound from the later stuff, but even Crooked Rain is a fairly like slick record, so yeah, a lot of those tracks I don't really, like I said, unless I go, oh, what is that on? It's all just like Pavement songs. Wowie Zowie I know the best, like that I could do, but yeah, they're all just kind of like, it's just a bunch of good songs, and
I so agree with you. And
yeah,
I
like
discovered them in a similar way. I discovered them late.
Cool.
Like I discovered them after Terra Twilight. So, I got the same gift that you got, which is like 5 records like at once,
Yeah, and to hear people say like Carrot Rope, I've seen people say like, but that one's a toss off. That one's a joke, stupid song. And I'm just like,
It's
sure,
fun.
I guess, but I like it. And like, I think, yeah, fun songs like that, there's room for that. Again, if you were so stoked for the next 10 Pavement songs and one of them you felt was a silly goof track, maybe I could see being a little more disappointed, but I don't know. I think it sounds like Animal Crossing music, which was another big part of the pandemic for us.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed
You just
it.
tied it all in a bow. Tied it all in a bow. You are a master storyteller. Well, what do you say we go to the track that we're going to talk about this week, and we can do that right after this little break. What do you think?
Can't wait. But I will.
Right.
I'll wait, because you just said there's going to be a break. So I can wait, and I'm excited to do it.
Excellent. Well, we'll talk to you right after this.
Hey, this is Bob Nastanovich from Pavement. Thanks for listening. And now on with a countdown.
45.
Tangled in the midst of all the trust away you pissed inside the brain fire technology drives. Show me your dots now. Who was it that said the world was mania, divorces and spare change? Let's lethalize our slingshots and swallow propane. You are the light, the calm and the day. You are the light, the calm and the day. Senior year abroad, I ripped the pea out of the pod, in store for 3 months of exile in Spain. Where was the danger? Watch out for the gypsy children in electric dresses, they're insane. I hear they live in crematoriums and smoke your remains. You are the light, the calm and the day. You are the light, the calm and the day.
So this is song number 45 on the countdown. And it is our first track from Terra Twilight on the list so far. It is You Are a Light. What do you think of this track, Matt?
Personally, and hey, not trying to be controversial, I like it. I think it's great.
Oh, that's not controversial.
I guess you're right. I guess everybody wrote in. I saw you talking about people write in for your top 50, and I went, I'm not qualified. I shouldn't.
Oh,
I should let the real guys do this. So far, I agree. I've been keeping up with the pod, and there's only been a couple, but there's not yet been a track that I've gone, you people are insane. And You Are a Light, I'm right there with them. Sure, this could be a top 50 for me.
Yeah, I think it's a lovely song. I think his vocal tone is like maybe one of the best that we've heard of performances delivered vocally. Like it's so clean and so smooth. I love all the atmospherics in this song. Nigel has created like a soundscape, for the rather sparse band arrangement, which we're used to with this band, sort of filling in the gaps really nicely. I love how the song opens with that it almost sounds like you're turning something on.
Yeah.
Like a flick of a switch or something, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. For sure. Old Electronics reminds me of or something.
Yeah.
In a movie. I don't know if Old Electronics really make that sound, but
Feels
I feel
like
like they do.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think that's a thing about like his vocals. Like sometimes I'll listen to vocal takes of the Pavement, and be like, I wish I was bold enough to be okay with that. And this isn't one of those, right? Like this, he sings very like
It's lovely.
on
Yeah.
key and everything,
Yeah.
and which
Yeah.
is cool too, to have those differences, and then to like know that like on other songs, and of course I'm not thinking of any right now, but he does it a lot, right? Where it's not necessarily on the correct pitch or with great tone. And so songs like this, right, are just kind of like, well, yeah, he could have done it perfect, but it feels better, more fun to do it more fun, I guess, or whatever. And
I can
right,
just hear Randy Jackson being like, "You're a little pitchy, dog.
yeah,
You're a little
right.
pitchy."
and that's it. That I mean, like I said, like if I'm ever recording a song, like there's no way I'm very self-conscious about things like that, and it's nice to have someone to look at and go, it's okay. You can have fun with it, or you can do it more like You're a Light and nail it and make a very pretty song. But then I do like how this song's almost like cut in half, right? Like there's the first chunk and then there's the second part half. There's dynamically there's tons of shifts. And that's another songwriting thing that I like appreciate in this song. They don't go back to the first part. And I think, in songwriting, I don't know, I feel like that's a tough thing to do, to go like, nope, it's just this, and then we're done. We don't need to overdo it. There's no reason to come back to even like a chorus. Which I don't know. I mean, this song would be difficult to kind of say what is
a
chorus. Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose you are like you are the light, the calm in the day. You're the light, the calm in the day. Like I suppose that's chorus, but you're right. There's no Pavement blueprint. We've heard 6 songs so far on the countdown, and they're all remarkably different. They're all remarkably different from a structure standpoint, as well as just like a finished product. I love that too. I'm glad you pointed that out, because it's like verse chorus, and then weirdness, and then sort of a bridge, and then sort of out.
Yeah.
But None of it is songwriting 101.
No, and right, like it is interesting, I think, because you could take a lot of these songs in this top 50 and pretend, well, what if there was a band that was this? Like this was their entire thing. And they're cool. But right, Pavement does do a lot of different things. And that, to me, right, that's more interesting. I think I get the impression from some of the diehards, which again, I'm not saying anyone's doing it wrong or anything, but I think sometimes people will get sort of like stuck on their idea of Pavement, or that maybe the version of Pavement they like, and it can be annoying to them when they diverge from that too far in their minds. But I think I look at it like, well, I only have to listen to one band. I don't have to get into 5 or 6 other bands. It's making it easy for me.
That's great. What do you think this song is about? Do you think it's about anything, or is it just word salad, or what's the deal?
Man, I'm not a lyric guy.
No, okay.
I guess I'm more of like a connotative lyric person, right? Like,
Okay, expand on that.
these words feel a certain way together. It's not like a story. It's not like a linear tale, right?
Right.
But and I'll do that even with songs that maybe are like, someone will go, "Oh, that song, that's about him riding on a train," and I'll almost be disappointed when someone tells me that, right? I'm like, "Oh, I guess it is. Yeah, okay, I see." I like lyrics that just, to me, my interpretation of it is like, well, that makes me feel this way, and all of these words kind of like come together to elicit an emotion, and that's sort of the vibe I get from Pavement lyrics. People will,
right. I think you're bang on.
people talk about it like, oh, well, it's just nonsense. And I think maybe in like it's about this, I'm talking about these things. Maybe that's true, but I do think that they always seem to me to be pretty carefully selected to elicit an emotion, a specific like vibe and feeling. And yeah, I mean, so like I said, I'm not really lyric. I don't really like pour over lyrics. And I did for this because I thought that would be a good thing to do. And then that's when I learned, well, I am bad at it. I have no idea what this is about. But I like them all. I like cool words. And these are like, I read these and I go, well, this is cool. I like how this makes me feel. And they all are neat words together.
Yeah, and some of them connect. Like, I think you are a light, the calm in the day. I think that fits together. Like, that may be about somebody, but maybe not. Like, I love lyrically, it almost reminds me of David Berman. I drive a stick, gotta love it, automatic. Like, that's just the vocal delivery of that is really cool. So I think you're right. There's almost as much like a Michael Stipe sort of thing going on, where it's like, this word sounds good with the melody. I'm going to use that in lieu of writing something heartfelt and linear or something along those lines. I don't want to say this song isn't heartfelt or other Pavement songs aren't heartfelt, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. And I think sometimes when you write a song, you might, you're saying, well, yes, this song is about the way I felt when this thing happened, but it's not about that thing. You know what I mean? It's more about the emotion and sometimes, like I said, I don't really enjoy story songs that much, or I feel like you're sort of like stripping away a layer for people to enjoy it. Because you're going like, well, I don't have a red truck, so I can't. you're making me do more work, right? Because now I have to go, okay, that's the way you felt about your red truck. What could I feel that way about? Instead of just talking about the emotion and then, whatever. I'm getting above my pay grade on talking, but right, yeah, I'm sure like maybe old Malcolmist could say, oh yeah, this is about like Lethalizer Slingshots is about the time that we did this and this and this, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Swallow Propane. I just know, hey, as much of a fan as I am, not going to do that, Steve. Not going to do that.
No, I don't think I will. I don't think I will.
Where do you think this fits? Do you think it's a good spot at 45, or do you think it should be is it properly rated? Do you think? Or would you have it higher up, or would you put it lower down?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I think I'm gonna have more issues myself with the top, because I think
sure
with people who are perhaps better fans than I,
there's no such thing.
It would be hard for me to not say, "Oh, Cut Your Hair should be top 5. What a great song." And I think I feel like it's going to get deeper cut, less pop song toward the top. And this, I don't know, this kind of, to me, this would probably maybe go higher for me, but I think, man, they got a lot of songs. And
you have a lot of songs. 120 were selected for this process. 120 songs.
I guess really, right? This is sort of a fool's errand from the start. It's just kind of a fun way to talk about a bunch of songs. I think
you got me. You got me.
Yeah, I think you've talked about it. It's like, well, yeah, this is 45 today, but next week it wouldn't make my top 100 or something, you know?
That's Pavement fans are a little fickle. Yeah.
But if this was like the Guitar Player magazine, I'll talk shit on them again. Top 100 guitar players, you know, this wouldn't be the one that gets me in the comment section going, "You're out of your mind. What? That's no way."
Gotcha.
So I would read it and I'd go, okay, yeah. Did you see the guy did the top 500 Guided by Voices songs?
Holy shit. No, I didn't.
It might have been
what a challenge.
Some publication, some music magazine. And
we'll have to check that out.
I consider myself a fan of a pretty fair weather fan of Guided by Voices, but I do like them. Now that was a band I tried to get into late, and I went, I can't. There's no
too
way.
much work.
I can't do it.
There's too much work.
And I'm reading this top 500, and like, it was crazy to me that his like top 30, I maybe knew 2 or 3 songs out of it.
Wow, I have to check this. I at least have to check the top 50 out.
See how many get you in those comments going, that's crazy.
Well, I'm probably like you in that, you know, I've got B1000 and I've got gosh, I can't even think of the other records that I have. But I don't know that I could name. I'm a bad fan here because I don't know if I could name 50. I don't know if I could name 50.
They have tricky names to recall at times as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, right. I think this is certainly a easier undertaking. Makes more sense to me to do the top 50 Pavement than top 500. I mean, at least here you can go like the difference between, you know, 30 and 25 makes sense. On a top 500, what is 450 to 442? Like, what is
That's
that?
Right.
How do you even quantify? But again,
well, most people had difficulty doing 20. Most people had difficulty doing 20 ranked, which is what I asked for. I asked for 20 ranked songs, and then I would get emails from people, and I'd be like, "Dude, just do your top 5, and then add another 15 songs." You know, like because it, like you said, it's tough once you get to a certain point. You know, like what is 17? You know what I mean? Out of 20.
And I think this is a band where you go like, if I'm in a bummer mood, they've got them. They've got songs for that. And if I'm
Yeah.
if I'm wanting to have a good fun party time, that's a different set of songs. Major Leagues was my most played on Spotify last year.
Oh, cool.
So,
All right, because you get that report at the end of the year, right?
so yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that makes it somewhere. I guess that would have made it easier for me because how would I pick a number one? And I guess if I listen to that the most,
That would be your number one for 2023.
I guess so. I guess.
Yeah. Well, Matt F Basler, it's been great talking to you about Pavement, and
Agreed.
I really appreciate your time. This podcast season 2 here of Meeting Malcolmus is entirely shouldered by the guests. So you did a formidable job, and
Thank you.
appreciate that a lot. Is there anywhere that people can find you that you want to be found, or is there anything project-wise that you're working on that you want to talk about, or anything like that?
Yeah. Matt F Basler everywhere. We're a band, I suppose. Matt F Basler is a band and a me, and we're doing songs, and I think I could see. I'm not going to say if you like Pavement, you'll like my stuff, but I think if someone was listing bands they liked, it would sound crazy if someone said, I like Pavement, Matt F Basler. It wouldn't be whiplash for someone to mention those two things sonically together. We just did a couple years ago though. We did a synth album of covers of modern country songs.
Oh my God.
About beating people up. So that's maybe a little bit out there.
Can you find it on Bandcamp or?
Yeah. It's everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, all that. And then as an
cool.
apology to country music for making a mockery, we made an album of country originals.
Whoa.
So we're doing a lot of stuff. We're doing some crazy stuff out there.
That's cool. Well, I hope I hear you on the pod list this year. Do you know what the pod list is?
No.
So every year I do something called a pod list for my birthday, and I solicit tracks from talented Pavement fans, and they do covers, and then I put all the covers together in a podcast playlist or a pod list. And I get it sequenced by somebody who I get it sequenced by somebody who knows sequencing, and it's usually pretty fucking fun.
That's wonderful. I have a podcast.
So
I guess
that'll be July.
Matt F
what's your
Basler's podcast. I'm not good at naming things, so yeah, it is just Matt F Basler's podcast.
Or you're really good at naming things.
Well, Sandy and Kevin are.
Oh, okay.
They named me, so.
Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, it's great talking to you. Like I said, that's what I've got for you this week. So stay cool and wash your goddamn hands. Thanks for listening to Meeting Malcolmus, a Pavement podcast, where we count down the top 50 Pavement tracks, as selected by you. If you've got questions or concerns, please shoot me an email, jd@meetingmalcolmus.com. To podcasts and such.